Hi guys, it's Brittany from By Brittany Goldwyn. I post videos about plants and projects, and today we are doing a little bit of an update in my greenhouse. As you can see here, it is very crowded. I gave a tour of this greenhouse as soon as I set it up, but I am quickly realizing in my first spring with the greenhouse that I just need to kind of change how things are set out. So first I had put up these two shelves. Those are coming down, at least the very top one is, to make room for this wire shelf that I got at Habitat Restore today for super cheap. So we're gonna go through that first, and I'll kind of talk about some of the other things I am doing to update things in the greenhouse and make it a little bit more functional. Now, if you didn't see my original greenhouse tour video, this is the Backyard Discovery greenhouse in the Willow model. So that's a 6 foot by 9 foot greenhouse. We had a concrete slab poured for ours, and then you can see it's very much a traditional greenhouse with polycarbonate panels all around and on the roof. And it is cold, cold, cold and windy outside today, and it is currently 81 degrees in the greenhouse without the heater running, which is fantastic. So if you've ever heard the term greenhouse effect, that is exactly what it is. So we are going to empty out these top shelves here. Now, what I was finding was this is the sunniest side of the greenhouse. This right here, and then probably over here too, is kind of like southern exposure. So I was just finding that this early in the year, it's, today's March 1st, it's March now. March 1st in zone 7A in Western Maryland, that right over here, without adding any more grow lights to the greenhouse, was really the only place I was getting consistently good sun for a lot of the seedlings that I'm starting in here right now. So as I'm starting more and more and more, I'm realizing I really need to expand, and I don't want to line the whole greenhouse with grow lights because it's a greenhouse, and I was kind of hoping to rely more on the sun for a lot of the light I needed. So I did get a couple of shop lights today, 300 lumen shop lights, or sorry, 3,000 lumen shop lights. Cheap at Lowe's, and those are going to be perfectly fine, I hope, for starting seeds. Now, they're not actually grow lights, they're shop lights, which means they don't have the full, spider. They don't have the full spectrum of light that plants need for their entire growing cycle, especially flowering and fruiting plants, but this light will be enough for seed starting, which is really all that I want it for, because by the time it gets warm enough that the plants start needing a little bit more light, it will hopefully be, the days will be much longer, and I'll be getting more sun in the greenhouse here in probably about a month or so. So right now, the goal is to scoop out this nasty spider web here, and then give the plants just a little bit of extra light. So this is the large shelf I have. Now I'm really hoping to keep these brackets, but it looks like they may be a little shallow. So I'm definitely not planning to have much in terms of weight on this. So I think I may just try and zip tie this in place and see how secure I can get it. And then maybe next year I'll go in here and replace things, because I just want to have seeds starting on here. I don't want to be like storing heavy things. So just a bunch of small seed containers and seed starting things like this. So I'm not too concerned about super heavy weight up here. Actually, I just went down in the basement and found 2 of these white shelving brackets. So what I'm gonna do is replace the 2 on the ends and just use these 2 more narrow ones that are kind of too small for the new shelf as supports throughout the middle. So I already took down the one over there. We're gonna take this one down. And I'll probably just reuse these somewhere else in the greenhouse, because I'm gonna move some of these shelves that I'm taking down behind me for some more storage. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So these are just a hair too long, but I don't really care because they are going to serve the purpose and they're going to provide a lot of space on here. Okay, it's now the next day and I'm checking in and you can see that behind me things look a little bit different. And that's because yesterday when I was rearranging, I got hot and tired and cranky. And I decided that I did not want the internet to bear witness to being so cranky. So I stopped filming, but I continued rearranging and I'm going to show you guys what the end result is. I'd say I'm probably about 90% where I want to be here with the spring seed starting setup, about 90%. So let me show you first the shelf that I was putting up. I had it up on the top level here. Well, I put it up there and then I realized because of this board up here, you can see that this doesn't get a ton of natural light up here just because of the way the shadows fall. So I put a lot of my perennials up here that are already rooted, and honestly, I'm just waiting another couple of weeks for them for it to warm up a little bit for those to go in the ground. And I moved the wire shelving unit to the bottom. So I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to put everything, but I am really happy with the amount of sunlight all of the seeds are getting on this long wire shelf from above me and out here where this is like kind of west, the sunset's over there. So this gets really great light here. So over here in this super highlight corner, I did have these two long planters with my winter growing spinach and lettuce. Now they were just taking up a lot of room and I'm hoping to start hardening these off and bringing them outside soon anyway. So I moved those out of the way and put a couple of other things over here that really has a higher priority for light. And that is this big green stalk seed starting tray. So I really like this seed starting tray because each of these are individuals here. And then it also, you can pick up all of them at once and they sit down in a tray. So super awesome of Greenstock to send me these to check out. And I'm really enjoying them so far. We'll see how the seeds progress with their growth in them. I'm also using a couple old salad containers here. These are the clamshell ones that you cannot recycle. At least where I'm at, we cannot recycle these, even though I thought for the longest time that you could. Shout out to the Frederick County Division of Solid Waste and Utilities, one of my favorite Facebook accounts in the world. I am a top fan. They share a bunch of awesome information. And one of those pieces of information is that the clamshell salad containers are not recyclable. So I'm using a lot of those for my winter sowing, but I had a bunch of extra seeds that I got from our Master Gardener seed swap. So I decided to just kind of grow them in mass in these to see if, what kind of germination I get in here. This is a mix of my cocoa coir and some potting soil in here, just to see kind of what happens. And as they sprout, I will pluck them up and put them into their own containers. I've got some tomatoes in this one, and I think this one's got Roma tomatoes in it as well. And then up here, more Roma tomatoes. So I had a lot of extra Roma tomato seeds. So I'd love to be able to transplant those into their own little pots, like all of these here, to be able to share those either with our Master Gardener plant sale or whatever else. Now this whole level here has a bunch of cauliflower and a couple other random things. And then over here, I've got just, oh my gosh, just so much stuff. Loofah, which I'm not planning to grow in my own yard just because it is incredibly space intensive. Okra, more tomatoes, and I don't even remember what's in this one up here. More tomatoes, so lots and lots of tomatoes growing in here. Now I have a lot of really great highlight space down here that I'm planting to put the rest of my seed starts in. And you'll see I did mount to 3,000, I think it's, what did I say earlier? I don't remember how much it is, but it's like the minimum you need for seed germination. So these are just shop lights. They connect to one another and they turn on, and you can't really see how much extra light they give you here because it's a very sunny day, but I'm just planning to use them for a little bit of extra germination light boosting on days that may be a little bit cloudy, and I just have them set up here so that I can easily move the S hook down to be closer or farther away from the seeds. So I will let you guys know how these turn out, since they are not actually grow lights, they are just shop lights, but I see no reason why they would not be helpful for germinating the seeds. Now behind me, I moved one of the shelving units that I had over here, these wooden ones. I moved that one up here because, again, the sun rises over there. So this is a super sunny area for a long period of time in the greenhouse. So it just seemed like I should be maximizing that space by putting some of my seedlings up there. So I've got a couple pots up here with random things in them. I'm going to just continue adding things up there as I pot things up. Next year, I don't know. I may end up putting the second one right here. I just don't know how much light a second level under this will get, because it will be shaded somewhat by this shelf here. So right now I've just added a couple of extra pot clips here to put some of the things that I'm wintering over, this prickly pear cactus. And I also like using these pot clips for just plain terracotta pots to store things in. They are super handy. If the pots are empty, you can use them for storing stuff, just throwing stuff in that you don't want to lose. And then if they're empty, you can throw plants in them. Now, since this is a super high light area, I have decided to only plant in basically one side of my green stalk here right now. So you can see the spinach is actually rolling along pretty well. I put some cauliflower in here, some of my extra cauliflower starts I had. I just figure I'd throw them in here to see how they did. And then I have some chard up here, some just other random things. But I am only planting on that side of the greenhouse now, other than what I already had growing in here, just because the light levels are still a little bit low on this side, since the days are still pretty short here in Maryland Zone 7A. So we're only going to be planting on that side for the time being. Now I have one shelf left that I'm not sure where I want to put the shelf back up. I've thought about putting it over here, which I'll show you guys. Grab this and turn it around. I've thought about putting it up on this side where I currently have a ladder hung, because this does get pretty good light. I may end up mounting it up here and then just moving those hooks down so that I can still hang things, because I do actually use this step ladder a good deal. I use it around the garden for picking. I use it here in the greenhouse, sometimes for filming, or just, you know, sitting at the bench if I'm working on something. And then I've just got a bunch of other random stuff hung on the other hook that I may just hang elsewhere in the greenhouse, because the priority really is putting shelving places where it gets the best light and I can be putting seedlings and plants and whatnot. Now I've still got a lot of space taken up here, a lot of real estate taken up by my potatoes that I have in grow bags. I am hoping to get these outside on the other side of this wall over here, probably in the coming weeks. It's still just a little bit too cold for them, I would say, but I may just get irritated that they're just constantly in my way in here. Once they have sprouted and I put on some more soil, they will definitely be heading out to the little patio outside of this greenhouse to continue growing, because they are taking up a lot of room. And I would love to put like some sort of little table right here, maybe not even like a table, maybe something that attaches to the wall and can like fold up, or maybe some sort of shelf right here just to have like a little bit of additional workspace. I definitely want to do something like that over here to maximize this space a little bit more. And then over here I've just got random stuff that's waiting to go out for the season, and some stuff that I still have to figure out what to do with. Over here, I moved all of the little tropical propagations I've been working on, because I would say this area gets really great light, but it is not like that direct sunlight that seedlings mostly need. And when I picked up the big wire shelf from Habitat for Humanity Restore, I also saw this little guy, which I thought would be perfect size for this size plant pot. I think is that a 4-inch pot, maybe 4 or 6-inch pot. And it is, so I was able to really maximize the space up here for all of my little tropicals and still fit everything I need to fit on this wall. These little cages are two things that I already purchased when I first started setting up the greenhouse, and they're still really awesome, but I like the lower profile of this one and how long it is, and I just have it hung up on 2 of these multi-purpose S hooks. Now, another thing that I really like about these S hooks and this new shelf I have here is that since it is a closet shelf, it has a bar running on here, so I can hook and hang things on here if I really want to. Obviously, I just put it up yesterday, so I haven't really had the opportunity to figure out how I might use that feature, but it is something that I'm keeping in mind since it is part of the shelf, and I've got all of these S hooks here on this utility wall to use to organize different things. And I am planning to do another video here soon about all of the different ways that I am starting seeds this year, since I've got lots of different vessels and things that I'm either trying out for the first time or using for now many years in a row, and just kind of my thoughts on all of the different things. But I'm still waiting on one seed starting vessel thingy to get some things into before I do that video. So I hope you guys enjoyed my updated greenhouse tour of my Backyard Discovery Willow greenhouse. If you have any questions about this greenhouse, please let me know. I love it. I'm happy to share my thoughts on it now, coming up on my first spring with the greenhouse and finishing up my first winter with the greenhouse. So until next time, happy planting.